Hi everyone, today's video we are getting into top 3 diagnoses that can create groin pain from overuse. My name is Dawn and this is Sebastian. We're from Performance Place Sports Care, the locally world famous chiropractors here in Costa Mesa. And today's video purposes, we're getting into those top 3 diagnoses. We're gonna pair exercises for each one, and whatever one makes you feel better, that is likely the reason for your groin pain. So we'll get right into it, yeah? Cool. So very, very simple. I want you to first start off with what creates your groin pain. In the past old video, you showed me a kneeling exercise that hurt. So can we test that real quick?
Sure. I wonder if it came back since we worked with it in that video.
So Seb actually has groin pain on his right side, and we know that is it there?
Still feels better.
So, still feels better. Okay.
We did it about like an hour ago.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is pick something at home that usually hurts your groin. It might be a squat, getting out of a chair, whatever it may be. Test it now so you can follow along with us, okay? First thing I'm going to have you do, Seb, is lay on your left side, facing the camera. So this is problem side is right hip. That's why he's problem side is up to the ceiling. For you, if it's the opposite, just go ahead and flip over. What we're going to try to do is create a rainbow with his side body here. There we go. So see, you can kind of poke my hand through. We want some space here. We don't want any stretching. Arm overhead and knee backwards, drop to the floor. If this creates any sort of stretching down below for you, I want you to bring your knee forward until you don't feel that stretching anymore. Find the position that feels the most comfortable, almost like you're doing nothing. And we're going to breathe into this position. So Seb, breathe into my fingers here. I got a finger in the front and then another one that wraps around the backside. He's trying to expand my fingers with his breath. And so we're going to kill time in this position by also doing some skin rolling. I'm going to show you how you can do this. Take your top hand and grab the skin. Start from the backside, bone on the side of the hip here. Grab the skin, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in all different directions. And follow it around until you get right down into that groin crease of the hip here. And you guys can follow along with us. But ultimately, top diagnosis, if this one works for you, it's not your hip, it's not your groin. We are actually following the nerve path somewhere from the lumbar spine, the low back, that wraps around and supplies right into that groin. So skin rolling and opening up here can allow the nerve to breathe for a little bit. Do this for about a minute or two. Get up and retest your provoking thing. Try that out and see if that works for you.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of people that come in with, they said, I can't believe that side thing and the skin rolling worked. What now?
Yeah, it's almost like this weird magic trick, like you didn't do anything to my hip, why did that work? So we started with that one because a lot of times, high percentage, this is usually what we see is there's some sort of low back referral into the hip and nobody's looked at that yet, and that's why it's been so chronic.
By the way, there's 3 basic hip diagnostic categories which Dawn's going to cover today too, but also we have a more in-depth webinar in the corner which can help you out to understand more in detail about why those things are what they are and what's in those categories.
Perfect. So next diagnosis is going to be a true internal hip joint issue. Usually looks like FAI, femoral acetabular impingement. Somebody may have given you that diagnosis, seen it on imaging, or you might self-diagnose via Google. But if this is what's going on with you, we think this one will help you. Go ahead and go into your lunge position. Problem leg is backwards, knee to the ground. Perfect. And so from here, let's go thinking position, elbows on your front knee. That takes the low back out of it here, so we get all the movement from the hip here. He's going to squeeze this glute to shine his front pocket forward. And we're going to go through about 10 to 20 reps of this. So ultimately, again, a lot of times what you see, hip flexor stretches, people are doing crazy things like this. There's too many components that this is what's happening, and we don't want any of this here. So want it just coming from the hip joint. Most of the time leaning forward like this, you're not going to feel much of a stretch in the hip flexor. If at all, it's very minimal. We're really actually trying to drive the hip joint into a different position.
Yeah, I actually feel the hip flexor more when I sit up.
Absolutely. And so another thing, if you're feeling okay with this one in your first 10 reps, take this foot and kick it out. Perfect. So now he's kind of more into this position, and we're doing the same thing. Okay. So after 20 reps of that, go ahead and bring that leg up into your provoking thing, retest, and see if that works. So if that one works for you, okay, then it's probably more of an internal hip joint issue. We could argue maybe a little hip flexor as well, but a lot of times hip flexors don't respond well to stretching like this. We move the hip joint internally, freed more space for you to now retest. And excuse me, that's probably why you're feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, would a labrum fall into that category too?
It can, yeah. A lot of times labrums, they can be symptomatic, whether it's positive on MRI or not, but it does fall into that internal hip joint. This may or may not also work for that. Last thing we're going to do, okay, is say it's musculature on the front side, something like the adductor or the true hip flexor or rectus abdominis that attaches down into that groin. We're looking to see if we turn those off by turning another muscle on. If that helps, maybe something truly muscular going on in the front side of the groin. So lay on your back for me. We need resistance for this one, so we use these nice, lovely little bands in the office. We're going to slip it up to the tops of the knees. And then all we're going to do, keep the feet close. Try to go as wide as you can with your heels, or with your knees here. We're going to stay wide and we're going to flutter in and out, in and out, in and out until you absolutely hate me for it. Side butt cheeks.
What if I hate you beforehand?
Until you hate me the most for it. Side butt cheeks all working. Point to where you feel this, Seb. Perfect. Whole lot of butt cheeks working there. We go, 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 go until it feels like they're starting to cramp on you. And then we're going to pause. And we're going to repeat one more time. So just for purposes of the video and length of time, at home you can pause. You can do this until you feel it working like a pump, bicep pump in your butt cheeks. And then we'll slip that thing off and we'll retest your pain again afterwards. So again, top 3 things. What you respond to in rehab a lot of times can help guide us into what's really truly causing your pain and discomfort. Could be your low back, could be a true internal hip joint issue, or it might just be musculature on the outside, overuse. We got to get something else working better.
Yep. Now, in the situation where there's actually a fray or a tear, we can say the hip flexor was ripped off of the body. The adductor tendon really has tendinopathy now, or it has a fray or a tear. So we call that a tissue disruption. So not all of the external joint issues like Dawn mentioned end up in tissue disruption. Some do, some don't. But if you can catch it beforehand, making it so that overuse of that tendon or musculature doesn't become a disruption, then you're way ahead of the game.
Absolutely. So we have tons of videos on our YouTube channel you guys could go check out. Type in groin pain. You'll see a lot of stuff on there. Some educational ones, other things that you can try. Whatever you're looking for, we probably got it. But if you want something individualized for you, I recommend we can do this in person or virtually. Just set up a consultation with us and we can help guide you in the right direction.
Yep. We'll see you guys next time.